Hello, everybody. In today's episode, I'm gonna talk about my English experience, how I learned English from the scratch up to my current level with no teacher. Let's begin with my story. It all started with the middle school in my country, and it's Ukraine. I'm from Ukraine, yeah, by the way. And my knowledge was like literally zero. Because anything about past simple, about those tenses in English language, I wasn't even interested in learning English language back then. The Ukrainian educational system and the post-Soviet Union system, to my opinion, is totally broken. Because the teachers have a bad English accent and the Slavic accent. That's not the first reason. That's just the first thought that came on my mind. But they're not encouraging students to learn something, because on my opinion the teachers should motivate students, not just if you'll do this you're gonna have a good grade, but some other way. For example, like without English you will not survive in this world if you want to become someone, and if you want to have international connections with all the businessmen, with the all people overall, because the majority of people are talking in English, and that's the great reason why everybody should at least learn English somehow and to put some effort in this particular language. Why I decided to learn English? Why when I didn't want to do it at all? It began with my trip and with my move from my own country to the Poland. When I was 17 years old, my mom and I went to the Poland and crossed the Polish border on 12th August 2021, I presume. I don't really remember. And then things got changed. I realized all of a sudden that the language is really important for me, because nobody could speak Ukrainian, unfortunately for me. I started to learn Polish language, and I was working as a constructor. I visited my first ever Toastmasters. That's the place where anyone can go and practice their public ability to speak and to improve and develop their communicative skills with other people in English language. And you know what? They asked me about the weather, like, what do you think about weather during the summer? Do you prefer this weather or more weather in winter? And my answer was, yes, I came here to motivate everybody. I like you. I hope you will get motivated, and I wish all of you good luck. We will develop together. Just trust me, this answer and this reply was with a lot of mistakes, so much more than I was talking right now. It was so scary that I literally could die on that scene, on that stage. There was at least 30 or 40 people in the room, and everybody knew English definitely better than me. I was the baddest guy, I mean, the stupidest guy of all of them. And it felt both like I was proud of myself that I faced the fear of going to the scene, but on the other hand, there was really there was a real bullshit. That was so creepy. Not creepy, cringy. That was so cringy when I came right into the stage. But everyone applauded me like, "Whoo! Congratulations, man! That was on. You were on fire. You were on fire." I didn't even understand what "you were on fire" means, but anyway, the atmosphere was really good. We're moving forward. Sweden. When I turned 18, 2 days after my birthday, my friend Max called me and said, "Yo, man, you can go to Sweden. I live here. We can we can do some things together. And if you want to, you can move. You can live here." Nobody knew my future in this beautiful country, but he guaranteed for me that I wouldn't die, and I accepted his offer. I took the plane from the Krakow, the city in Poland, and with the 300 euros in my pocket, flew right into the Stockholm, the capital of the Sweden. The first impression was really strange, because in Poland, at least somebody could speak Polish, and the Polish language is kind of familiar to the and similar to my own language, like Ukrainian. But when I landed in Sweden and I came right out of the plane, everybody was different, and there was the polar opposite of my culture and of the Polish culture if we're comparing it. And I'm pretty communicative person, and the first thing they wanted to do is to ask some girl for a date, but I didn't even know how to say it. And I said to my friend Max, like, his English was great, just almost perfect back then, definitely better than mine. And I said to him, like, man, how can I say I'd like to invite you for a date, but I said it in my language? And he said this exact phrase. I was repeating it multiple times. I was walking down the street together with him in the downtown of the Stockholm, and was repeating it constantly, like, hi, I would like to invite you for a date. Then I completely forgot the phrase, but I tried to say it. That was really bad. Anyway, that was the moment when I completely realized that without English, I can't survive in this country alone. I lived alone without my friend then. So was a really important point and a really important thing that I should learn, like, at first, the language and the culture, but not only the English language and the Swedish as well. I went to the migration together with my friend. He was my personal translator. He translated, like, literally everything, every document that the personnel asked him to translate to me, like every word that he was seeing on the paper and on the all jurisdiction things and stuff. I haven't believed my eyes, because I know him and he was my classmate, and we studied in one classroom with with one English teacher, with the same English teacher, and he knew English even worse than me. Like, my English language was pretty straightforward. I could read in English, but I understood nothing from the text. My accent was really bad, not like that. I mean, not like right now, this current moment. I didn't know grammar at all, but he knew everything worse than me. And 3 years passed when my friend moved to the Sweden from Ukraine because of the war, and now he can translate everything, and I can do nothing. I can't understand the conversation. I don't get it. So from this moment, I was disappointed and upset even more than with the phrase, I'd like to invite you for a date. Things have changed. I moved to the northern part of Sweden, and I faced minus 38 Celsius degrees during the winter time. It was the most beautiful winter ever, by the way. But all those situations where when I talked with people, I didn't want to be, like, not a nerd. I didn't want to be a dummy, because there's a myth that everybody and every migrant is kind of stupid because they came from unprivileged countries. They came from the third countries, and the Sweden is a really modern country, and all people are really smart and they're highly educated, and Swedes don't like immigrants because they're stupid, they have bad education. I mean, from their perspective, I was one of them. I was just a regular immigrant who came on their land, and who just, an immigrant who doesn't speak Swedish, who doesn't understand English properly, and who can't express all his thoughts in English and in Swedish. And that was so painfully, like, from the bottom of my heart. I didn't want to be a stupid immigrant. I wanted to show my intellect. I want to make a joke together with the Swedish guys. I wanted to get to know them, like, more, like a real persons. And I am an open person. I can communicate with many people, and I'm really interested in conversations, but they didn't let me speak to them. Perhaps because of my poor English back then, and perhaps because the Swedish have this close mentality. But I mean, not mentality, like close. They don't let other people unknown. They don't let unknown people to know them. I mean, they don't want to be really close to unknown people. And for example, if you're a Swedish guy, and if you know a person from a childhood, or your parents are friends between each other, then with a highly chance you will be friends with this person. And of course, if it's Swedish. But if you came here at 18 years old, like me and the other persons, with whom I was training athletics were Swedish, and they're 18 years old as well, a bit elder, a bit less than 18 years old. That doesn't matter. They didn't let me in to do the conversations with them. I mean, some of them of course did indeed, but the majority of them were just far away from me, and they didn't want to see me around them and stuff like that. But this was a huge thing which pushed me to the English books. And my 2025 goal was to read 50 books in English. I didn't achieve that goal, but I read 22 books in English. I just chose the entertainment books that I really liked, and those books were about romantic stories, like about young couples who's trying to build the relationship between each other, and the guy is kind of flirting with the girl, and the girl is not sure how can she shows her feelings towards the guy who's flirting with her. And it was so romantic, and I know kind of interesting to me, because from one side it was kind of cringy and a teenage stories, but on the other side I really liked it. I don't know why. That was just my books, and there was this type of books that I really enjoyed with my whole soul. Of course, I did read some regular books, like I don't know, just classic literature in English language. But what's the most important point? All the books were for easy reads, for easy readers. Like if you're trying to learn English, they all were for easily comprehension and understanding. They weren't so complicated or hard to read. They were just normal books which you wanted to read day by day, and every single day, every single 15 minutes. Yeah, there was a time when I was doing it. I really appreciate that. I traveled a lot, all around the Sweden, from the northern part to the western part, and I lived in a lot of places there. Now I'm back in Ukraine. Now I don't like people out here. They're angry. They're even more than the Swedish ones. I don't like being Ukrainian society anymore. That's the story how I learned English in 2 years, from zero to my current level. Of course, I have a lot of things to work on. My overall review of my own tries, that's I did really well, and I did a lot of shadowing practice when I was working as a tree planter, and when I was planting like Christmas trees, pines. Meanwhile, I was listening to the shadowing practice, to the American English podcast or something like that, and I tried to repeat every word, every pattern of their voice that they were saying to me. I mean, literally, if the person says, "Hi, and today you're gonna listen to the American English podcast," and I repeat after this person simultaneously, "Hi, and today you're going to listen to the American English podcast with me." This method did really improve my English and my pronunciation so well, so great, so unbelievably. Then books, I mean, I don't know if they did the greatest results, the result of all the methods that I had, but I truly believe that there was two key methods that I had. The first one is communication with other people in your real life. That's the first one. The second one is to film videos and record yourself. If you want to be good at English, and if you want to see how other people treat you and how other people see you from their perspective, just grab the camera, grab your iPhone. I'm using 15 iPhone Pro, and I'm recording myself right now so that I can see how other people see me, how they perceive me, how they see myself from their own perspective. Because if you're just talking in English with no camera, that allows you to see more positive sides of your English, when it can be a lot of things that that you should be work on, like your pronunciation, your language overall. If you want to if you don't want to sound like a dummy, you should definitely record yourself, at least voice recording. If you are shy about yourself, don't do it. Like, don't record the video at first, but I highly recommend do it, even if you don't like your appearance or if you don't like your how you look like. I think that this is the important step of not, you know, an English. Every language is not, it's not just a language. If you want to learn a language, just try to push everything and this culture through you, through your mind, through your body. Just think in this language. If you truly want to be someone else, if you want to be a new version of yourself, that's just the most important point of all it. If you will learn 3 words per day, they will not change anything. You will be at the same level that you are right now. If you know like 3 words, cake, milk, and the dog, what will you do with them? Will you go to your boss and say milk, then dog? The boss will fire you immediately. I know what I'm talking about because I was fired from the job, from the tulip factory in Sweden, because I was filming videos back then. But I will remember until my death what means. Well, first and foremost, this is not the public company. This is my company. You can't say anything here because I am the person who decides everything at this company. I will not forgive these words forever because that's the real conversation, and I was emotionally in these conversations, and because of this conversation this whole conversation was depending on whether I will be fired or I will stay and work and continue to work. If you don't have the opportunity to move to an English country where people can communicate in English, then just watch tons of YouTube videos in English language. I wanted to learn like especially an American accent. If you want to learn a British accent, which I don't like, you can easily do it. Just find 10 YouTube channels on the YouTube and constantly every day replace all your videos in your native language with the videos in English, even with the British accent. That's were my advice from the person who went from zero knowledge, who went from a guy who didn't see any sense of learning English, to the guy who's truly passionate about this language, to the guy who will continue to learn it anyway. Because I found myself in this language. I found my new personality, and I am developing as a person every video, and with every new word and with every new English video and with every my video, I'm just discovering new me. And of course, if you will record yourself for the first time, they will be so cringe. Just trust me, because I know what I'm talking about. My first video on my YouTube channel was how I was unpackaging my camera, DJI Osmo Pocket 3. You can just check that video and you will definitely agree with me that the first video will always be a cringy one. But you need the strength to come through the struggle, go over it, and to record the second video, the third video. And just trust me, the guy who knew nothing, that you'll definitely achieve your goal if you will constantly go to it. Yeah, of course, there will be moments where it will be so difficult that you will resign, or you just will have this extreme will to resign, and you can. I mean, nobody's made from the steel. Nobody makes from the stone. Includes me. I gave up so many times when I was recording my YouTube channel, but I promised to myself that against all odds, I will film every day YouTube video in a short format and every 2 days in a long format. That's it.